Welcome to this week's episode of It's All Funny Games, the official Gamezo podcast. I'm Dan, head writer at Gamezo, and this week I am joined, as always, by Ross. I have no superlative for you this week, Ross.
I
Ross
am my own
week.
superlative.
There we go. He is his own superlative, people. I'm joined by Ross. Ross, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I am. Made my own iced coffee today. It's very good.
It looks
There's
tasty.
some cinnamon sticks in there. Yeah.
Looks tasty. Oh, can I tell you? I'm gonna hit everybody with like some real quick tech, and then we'll get into the podcast. So I've been trying to eat healthier, and I made protein pancakes the other day, dude. So what you do? You take 1/2 of a cup of Kodiak cake mix. You mix 1 scoop of cinnamon bun protein powder. You do 1/2 cup of almond milk, vanilla almond milk, unsweetened. Add water to consistency. Bro, that shit was so tasty. I got 6 pancakes out of that for 350 calories. Nah, this is fine. This is all good. We're like PG-13 now. I've stopped caring. I've stopped caring.
Really?
The S-bomb can go.
S-bomb can go.
We're an official PG-13 podcast, okay? We got people on Apple saying the post show needs to be loaded up. That means the people want the swearing. Everybody knows the post show is only about the swearing. So
it's about us watching other people's YouTube videos.
Exactly. And someone wants to listen to that. And with that in mind, go to the podcasting service of your choice. If you're listening, click the like, the follow, the subscribe, do a review, 5-star, say some nice things about us. Whatever the thing you're on that means good stuff, click it. We appreciate that. It helps rank us higher. If you do not know, we are live on Twitch every Sunday at 2 p.m., except next Sunday it will be 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can come and join us live. That's fun. And in reverse, if you're watching live right now and you want to listen to us, we're everywhere podcasts are found. There we go. I got the stuff out.
And if we're not there, find a new podcasting platform.
Exactly. I can point you to the RSS feed. You can add it manually to whatever you want. We are like, it's 2020. Let's go. Okay. So, the agenda. We're going to talk some gaming news. We're going to talk about some question mark is what I have in the show notes, but it's actually going to be topic undefined. We'll discuss when we get there. We'll figure it out. We'll add it in after the fact. We'll do some post voiceover work. It'll be good.
Oh boy.
Esports news, what we've been playing, and then we'll play it out. I can't do a post show today. That's unfortunate. I gotta go do a curbside pickup.
For what?
For a TV.
Why do you need a TV?
The girls' TV broke. And if you know anything about putting kids to bed without their shows, without their damn programs on Netflix, you would know that I am getting no sleep until I put a TV back in that
Sounds
room.
like maybe if you're a better parent and didn't rely on technology, things would be fine.
It's true. No arguments for me.
Says guy who's never having kids ever.
Yeah. Anyway, before we get into the gaming news, if you're listening right now, you might hear from some of our sponsors. If you're watching live, you get to avoid that. There you go. Oh, Paul's saying we can let you do the after show by yourself.
Me do the after show by myself? I mean, that's gonna be boring.
I'll just leave my thing recording and
just
on forever.
Recording on forever.
Or point him over to Ross's channel. Let the chat do an after show. I don't know if that's a good idea. All right, Ross, let's get into it. The first thing on our list for gaming news, Halo 3, public beta, starting in June. How do you feel about this?
Yay, more Halo. I mean, this happened last time. It's just, there's more Halo. It's the Master Chief Collection on PC. It's Halo 3. They're not really doing anything to it. It's just the same version from the Xbox One version. So,
but
great, Halo on PC.
Us poor PC gamers.
You get to play FPS games the way they're meant to be played with a mouse and a keyboard. Great. What an achievement for video games.
It's so true.
I'm so proud of John Halo.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. It's like you said, yay, it's more Halo. I saw this news story and I was like, okay. And
like
actually,
everyone's just gonna stream it for the first day, and then after that, it's just okay, cool, yeah. Halo.
And do you know what my second reaction was? It wasn't already on PC. Like that, my first reaction was okay, and then my second reaction was like, that's not already there.
Now that I think about it, it was probably on like that like Games for Windows Live thing. Do you remember that the really old like PC Xbox one that was like super scuffed?
Mm-hmm.
I remember specifically that there was a mod for Grand Theft Auto 4 that removed the Games from Windows Live functionality from the game because it was so annoying.
Oh, Lord. man, yeah, they did it. I remember I was working the office, the company I was working for at the time. We had an Xbox in the kitchen, and then the engineering row, we had all PCs, and we were setting them up to play LAN stuff because that's what you're supposed to do when you're getting paid to work. And we started playing Forza, and we had to do that like Windows Store thing. It was like one of the first games that did it. It was really wonky.
We're gonna get to that later.
Yep. So
that's one of our topics.
Yep. Windows Store. Come down to the Windows
Do you know which topic it is?
No. I'm like looking at the topics and I'm like I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like,
Is it The Last of Us? I think it's The Last of Us.
No, it's probably not The Last of Us. I'd assume it's literally anything else.
It's the Fantasy Star.
That's what I thought. I assumed it would be that. All right. That's a good topic. That's going to be a fun topic. So yeah, anyway, there's going to be some beta testing. If you want to get in on that, go sign up, look it up, download it, do whatever they require you to do. I'm sure they're not being like judicious with who they're selecting. It's probably one of those, everybody gets to participate.
I'm sure if you already own the Master Chief Collection, you're going to be in it.
Mm-hmm. That's usually how it works. Or if you go and pre-order at your local game store, you may get a code on your receipt.
This just reminds me of like the Mafia thing we talked about last week, where this Master Chief Collection thing, like, they just keep releasing game after game after game. Like the games didn't all come at once. They're like, hey, this month you get Halo ODST, or I forget what the first one. Oh, it was Halo Reach, I think.
Yeah,
was the first one. Yeah. Oh, ODST is next, I think. But they were doing like, oh, here's Reach, and then like half a year later, here's Halo 2. This is the game you wanted, right? Well, no. I mean, it's smart because instead of just dropping everything and having your game be irrelevant in 2 months, your game is irrelevant for like 2 months, and then another one comes out, and then you're irrelevant for 2 months, and then the game comes out again. Like, I guess that's cool.
Yeah, and that's what I think we kind of said a little bit last week about Mafia, is that the only upside is, you get people playing 2 and 3 now, and then by the time they get through that Warzone,
once they patch the game enough, they can play it,
and then they get to go back and get a completely remastered number 1. Yeah, it's all about keeping relevance, and I think that's going to be part of the main topic about kind of like the marketing of things in the gaming industry now. It's about how do you keep with everything with an oversaturated gaming market. How do you stay relevant? It's hard.
It's hard, but it's you make a good game.
Oh, Ross cracked the code.
Wow. What an idea. You make a good game and people play it and enjoy it. What a concept.
That seems hard. That seems too hard. So anyway, Halo 3 public beta starting in June. All right.
I didn't know Halo 5 was on PC.
Yeah, I thought that launched, was that day and date with PC? I wanted to say it came at...
I thought it was too, but apparently it's not there.
Oh, really? I thought...
Well, it's like... I don't know. I might be wrong, but
I'm the same guy though.
About it, it's like no Halo 5 on PC.
That's weird. I'm the same guy though that like my response to this Halo 3 news was that wasn't already there. So I'm not.
I could have sworn that was on PC.
I thought it was, but whacking my mic. All right, I'm not gonna waste a bunch of time doing a Google search.
Doing John Halo research.
Yeah, we'll move on to my favorite topic.
Your favorite topic?
My favorite topic. When Sony comes out and they go, we have more indie games than anybody else. Indie games are here. We love indie games. Sony revealed 11 games for their PlayStation Talents program. Ross, what do you think about these 11 games?
Well, this whole program is just specifically about indie developers in Spain for some reason. So, like, none of these games you would have heard of because they're just, like, people from Spain making games. Yeah. I watched the trailers for all of them, and there were maybe like 2 that seemed cool. Okay, so I looked through them, and the very first one on like their official article is this game called Clid the Snail, right? What do you think about when you think of a game called Clid the Snail?
I'm gonna be like a snail,
and it's an indie game, and you think like games as art sort of thing. You got like the cool art style, and maybe there's like some nice little music, and it's, it makes you think. No, it's like a top-down like stick shooter, and it has like heavy metal playing, and I'm just like, what am I watching?
Yep. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the only one I actually watched, and I was thinking I might play that. It seems cool. It was the Library of Babel game.
I
It's
think I've seen that one.
like the platformer sort of thing, and it's got like this weird art style to it. That's pretty cool. But
Yeah, I've got it open right now. I'm just yes, I know I've seen that one. Yep, that one
yeah,
looks
that was the only one
looks
that
cool.
seemed pretty neat. There was like God, the name's escaping me. It had something to do with like it's like the island one where you're the little girl. You kind of look like Dora the Explorer.
summer in Mara.
Yeah, that one seems okay, but I feel like it might be a little too Paw Patrol for me, where it's like too kids oriented.
Yeah, they're talking about it being a calm, relaxing game, which is fun. I don't know, man. This Operation High Jump, rather, looks a 2D running gun action game with tactical adventure elements.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Dan, it broke my cardinal rule.
What's that?
There's no gameplay in the
Oh,
trailer.
show us the gameplay.
Show me the gameplay. I've said this plenty of times.
What
Like
is it?
I understand you do your cinematic trailer and you first like announce it and everything, but if you're in a group of games where you're the only one that doesn't have gameplay in your trailer, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Give me something.
nobody can get a feel at all for what they're supposed to be. Like basically what is this game? Like how?
Yeah.
What is this Itadaki Smash stuff?
It kind of reminds me of like Streets of Rage. It's
It
like
is.
the same thing, but
It's got a cool art style. It's got like this weird like Tokyo noir comic book meets like Overcooked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
it's like
weird art style.
but no, the one you were just talking about, it reminded me of like the Broforce game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There's no gameplay.
No...
It could be a like a visual novel.
That's
for all I know.
True.
It could be one of those like the anime porn games with like the puzzles and the ones you see on Steam all the time in the new release section, and it's like sexy girl puzzle slider game, only 87 cents. And then there's always the same friend of yours that has it, wish listed, and you're just like,
Tell him.
No.
I mean, also
again,
Josh.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
There you go.
Both of them probably.
I love them dearly, but jeez.
This the Inner Ashes game caught me just from a narrative perspective.
Oh yeah, that one too. Yeah. I saw that one too.
I looked at them. I told you I was very honest when we were doing the pre-podcast rundown. I was like, I looked at them and I did not write them down because I could just pull them up on the fly. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. I like indie games in general.
Dan loves indie games.
I do. And one of the reasons I love indie games is because they're usually short. So like I don't have a ton of time to play games. So so I can go crush a 4-hour indie game that, like, if it's well made, has decent mechanics, good story, there's usually something quirky or special about it. There's a special thing in there. And it's it's great. Or conversely, occasionally I get like the Maneater, where I just jam 13 hours in over a weekend and then never touch it again. Just beat it and leave.
Oh, you beat it?
No, I still gotta play it. I'm still working through it. I've grabbed. It's funny. It's like the only game I made over the last work week. I was like, all right, I'm gonna snag like 45 minutes here before bed and just like go do some missions and stuff like that. But it's the perfect. I think we mentioned this last time. It's that perfect style of game for me because I can just grab it for 45 minutes and go do some side stuff, or do 1 or 2 missions and progress the story and then come back. In a lot of ways, those big open world games that are like 10 to 20 hours end up being perfect for me because of that. So,
because boy, do I have a game for you that's 20 hours long.
Oh no, I don't want it. I don't want it. All right. So on the your favorite topic, which kind of ties back into the first topic.
My favorite topic?
Yeah, which is games getting remade or
ported. Oh, okay. I thought you were like specifically this one. I'm like, I don't really.
No.
Okay. Metroid's cool, but it's not my favorite topic.
Yeah, no. You every time we come up with game remakes or like game ports, you have like the same reaction. It's like either who asked for this or like, can we come up with some original content, please? So, Metroid Prime Trilogy dropping June 19th. If you like Metroid Prime.
Because they couldn't give us the original content.
Yeah.
Because we got Metroid Prime 4 and they had to scrap the whole thing and start over again. So they're like, okay, well, here you go. Take this, because you're not getting Metroid Prime 4 for probably 2 or 3 more years.
Exactly. This is the olive branch, so to speak. Here you go. Go and play it. I mean, look.
It'd be cool.
it's great if you like those games. I mean, this is how I feel about the game remakes and ports, right? If you really like love a series or game, and you haven't been able to play them for a while, it's great for you as a fan, right? But if you're not a fan, or you're us, right, where maybe you liked those games, but you're not going to go out of your way to re-get them, it just kind of seems like a money grab. With the remake, Xenoblade Chronicles with the remake.
I can't say anything about remakes right now because I'm currently playing one.
Look, I love remakes. When like Uncharted came out with the trilogy remastered on PS4, I bought it immediately and replayed through all of those games. Like I said, I think if you're a fan, remakes and ports are awesome. I'm just pointing out that if you're not a fan or you're just a casual side observer, it can seem like all of these remakes coming out are money grabs by companies. They are serving a purpose. They are going and helping a fandom. Like Josh was just talking to me about Command and Conquer and how they're reworking all of that. And, you know, that is very focused on the fans, because if you look at it, like, yeah, they made some of the assets look better, but it still looks like a 90s Command and Conquer game. It just is what it is. They put a lot more time into fixing mechanical issues, adding modes, adding missions, and kind of really enhancing the core experience while polishing the original graphics instead of doing kind of a full reblend. When they do those full reworks, that's where they're trying to go out and bring in new fans. When they just do an HD remake, that's usually to just appease the current fan base. That's kind of my opinion on it. Depending how old the games are, if you make a game if you release Saints Row 3 HD remake, I don't think you're really trying to appease new fans. Or grab new fans or appease old fans. I think that's some weird mix of just trying to grab money. But
my favorite's always like when they do it for games that were hyper cross platform and they were just like on everything. Like Saints Row was just it was on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. And then they're like, hey, in case you never got a chance to play this game that was on absolutely every console, here's a remake of it. So now you can play it on one of your 5 different consoles you have that it probably already is on.
Yeah.
That I don't get.
I've done that a few times. You know, we talked about the Mass Effect trilogy, and like I'm happy that's coming, because I did that where I went on my PS4 and I was like, clearly it already has to be here. And that's the other funny thing, is when you just get so used to these remakes that you're surprised when they're not there on the next generation of consoles. You know what I mean? Like they were there on PS3, I just assumed they'd be there on PS4.
But even for Mass Effect on PC, like I think 1 is on Steam and then 2 and 3 are on Origin. So there's not a place where they're together. Unless I think you might be able to get the trilogy on Origin now, but I know for Steam you can only get like 1 and you can't get 2 and 3.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That was the deal with the PS3 trilogy too.
Because the first one was only on Xbox.
Yeah. So like I remember wanting to play those games and literally buying the cheapest Xbox on the market just to play the first one.
They gotcha.
Yeah. I was like, you bastards.
And then you probably played, what, 2 hours of it?
No, I got like 70% through it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. But that was back in the GameStop days.
I was gonna say that doesn't seem like a game that would just like hold your interest that long.
No, I like sci-fi RPG is like 2 perfect things. It's just time that ends up being...
If you're doing the game dev tycoon thing to make a game for Dan, sci-fi and RPG.
Yeah. 100%. Like I love that stuff. Some of my favorite shows, you know, Battlestar Galactica. I've really enjoyed what the hell's that show? Crap. It's Altered Carbon. Like those sci-fi shows. I love them. Star Trek. I grew up watching Star Trek with my grandmother. Like X-Files. Like sci-fi stuff is awesome. And then if you give me the capability to not just be like faceless sci-fi soldier, I'm looking at you, Halo.
John Halo.
Yeah. And you actually let me like build relationships and make choices and have that awesome sci-fi action, then that's...
Emphasis on the relationships.
No, that's like the...
I want to bone a space alien.
That's my favorite. Like, so who'd you romance?
You're like, what do you mean, who did I romance?
Romance? You mean who did I lay with in the biblical sense? Come on. Say what you mean. Say what you mean. Anyway. So Metroid Prime Trilogy, June 19th. Close that loop.
You can't romance aliens in Metroid Prime.
Yes, so don't.
Very unfortunate.
I don't want anyone coming back, sending like an email to like info@gamezo.co.uk and being like, I listened to your podcast and I thought I could romance Samus and I could not romance it and it made me mad and I will never listen to your podcast again. We get facts. All right. Crossing over into a genre that I am less in love with than sci-fi.
I hate horror. I hate it. I hate scary stuff. This is definitely not my wheelhouse at all. I hate horror movies. I hate horror stuff. I hate all of it. When you live alone, it's not fun, right? When it's 3 a.m. and you're just thinking about the thing you watched and lights are off. Uh-oh. I'm screwed. I hate it. I hate it. I don't care if you think I'm a weenie. I don't care. I hate horror stuff. I will never like it. But I like Silent Hill. That's pretty cool.
I was going to say, you know what's funny? Is one of my fondest memories with Ross is when we drove literally around the entire universe trying to rent a copy of Silent Hill Homecoming. Do you remember that?
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
We went to Hollywood Video. Let me date ourselves. We went to a Hollywood Video in order to try to get that game. But, you know, there's a lot of Silent Hill fans out there. And people have been sad since the whole PT thing never materialized and yada yada. Well, you're going to finally get a little more Silent Hill content in Dead by Daylight. There's going to be some crossover there. We're getting Pyramid Head as a murderer, a killer. I don't know what they actually call him in Dead by Daylight. I haven't played the game.
Killers.
Killers, yeah. So basically, sure. Dead by Daylight, if you're not familiar with it, it's... what was that game? Evolved? Something? Yeah, Evolved. If you guys remember the game Evolved, where one person like played the monster and 4 people had to hunt the monster, it's like that, except the monster's serial killer and you're trying to survive it. Friday the 13th
there's no
game.
killing the monster.
Yeah, similar thing. Yeah, you're trying to survive, and what's really interesting about this is obviously this is a big acquisition. I think it was their 4-year anniversary for Dead by Daylight that they went and did this. For such a small indie game that started with like generic but kind of cool killers, to go and start, they've gone and picked up like legitimate horror property killers, and it's just like, I want to know how they did that, because
they're like the Fortnite of horror stuff now. It's just if you have something you want to advertise and it's like horror related, you put it in Dead by Daylight, because Dead by Daylight is now like the preeminent horror thing that people are, you know, interested in. So it kind of makes sense. I mean, it's not like you and I make a game and we're like, hey, can we have Pyramid Head, please, Konami?
Yeah. I mean,
like, they're a powerhouse now.
I guess, like, from my perspective, what I would love to see is the first meeting they had when they were trying to get their first licensed property, right? Because when they got their first licensed property, and I forget who it was, but like our friend Josh played Dead by Daylight from launch, and there was a lot of complaint in the community about the game, and they even had to come out and show like their roadmap to show like, hey, we're doing some stuff, we're improving the game. It got, like a lot of these games, Friday the 13th went through a similar path, right, where like it got stale, so now like the devs have to come out and explain like, this is how we're going to continue it and whatever. So before they kind of became that property, I just want to know how that meeting went down to get, like, to start the domino effect to get these properties. We'll never know. That's just a rhetorical question into the universe that I'm throwing out there. We're not gonna like, well, glad you asked, Dan. I put on my journalism cap and went undercover. You know,
I just did a quick Google search and there's probably like an article about it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I just thought it was interesting, and you know, I tweeted it out when we put the story up on the Gamezo website, and the reaction from most people was the same, which is like, I'm just happy to have more Silent Hill. I don't care what it's in. Like, I'm just
so
glad.
Sad.
I know, isn't it? Like, that's
because they got the killer, then there's like Heather too.
Yeah,
you get as a survivor, so that's cool.
So, you know, it's Silent Hill is alive in Dead by Daylight. All right, The Last of Us 2.
More horror stuff I don't like.
I don't know. This is like, for me, this is such a, like, it's a story, but it's a non-story. Surprise, in places on this earth, there are cultures with different views on things. And in those cultures, they may not want a particular piece of media to be published. And in the Middle East, they're not happy with The Last of Us 2 and the content there within. And therefore, if you live in the Middle East, you will not be able to play The Last of Us 2 because it has been banned.
You will, but...
Well, you will. You'll have to go about it a different way. There's not a lot to say on there. It is what it is. There's speculation as to like what content, which part of the content in the game they cared about and why they banned it. But the fact is that
it's very obvious what it is. Like, it's not.
Yeah, and look, we were talking about it before the show. The fact that you have a gay main character, right, and in the Middle East, they've banned TV shows where simply not underage, but like teenage kids, unmarried people have kissed on movies or on TV shows, and they've banned it. You can kind of see where their like bar for outside the box thinking is. But like I said earlier, right, we can take for granted in our culture what we consider normal versus what they consider normal. And like I said, surprise, they banned something that they don't deem appropriate as part of their culture. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, most of these people, like, if you look around, most of these people just kind of like shrug, because if you live in the Middle East, you're kind of used to this with stuff like this. And I've seen multiple people say that they have multiple PSN accounts because the ban only affects the local PSN, and it affects like big box retail stores, but it doesn't affect like mom and pop shops from importing like US copies of the game. And like these PS4s aren't, region locked or anything, so they can just, it's not like China, where there's like a specific PS4 console. You can just throw a game in there and it'll be fine. It's just most of these people, apparently, they're just used to it, and they're used to having, a lot of these people just have multiple PSN accounts. Like, they have a local one, and then they have an American one, and then some of them apparently just have like an Asian one too for the Japanese PSN, which is something people do. Like, I've done it. I have a Japanese PSN account.
Yeah, me too.
But apparently, what's funny about this is that this person said that if you go out to like markets and stuff like that, you just see like US PSN cards and stuff like that.
Really? It's
like if you go to like our version of a 7-Eleven, you'll just see like US PSN cards and stuff like that, because it's just very common that people to do this.
That's funny.
So I kind of read it, I'm just like, okay.
Well, that was the other thing I wanted to mention about this, is like, this is a much bigger story to Western audiences.
Yeah.
Right. Like we here care more than they do, because like you said, it's just, it is what it is. They're used to, getting a VPN service so they can watch the shows they want to watch that are blocked on Netflix in their country. And it's just, it is what it is. So, it was interesting. I wanted to bring it up because I've seen, like I said, it's more outrage from like US, Canada, Europe, right? They're like, how dare they? And it's just like, oh, it just is what it is, man. Like, I don't know. I ain't judging nobody. I wouldn't ban it, but I also didn't grow up in their culture. So, what do I know?
Well, it's wrong, but
well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, but I'm not here to police a different country, right? I'm
have a country covered, like, just run by religion. That's what happens.
Exactly.
Not surprising.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh well.
I already live in America. I'm used to policing enough. I'm stepping out on this one, Ross. I'm not going in on there.
That might not be good timing.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is. So yeah, if you have an opinion about this one, you let us know. I'm sure.
You let us know, and I won't care.
Exactly. Ross,
I'll look at your comment and laugh.
Yeah. Ross and I have our opinions on this one, and we're being as politically apolitical as possible in discussing it. So, all right, on to an easier topic to dance around. Phantasy Star Online 2 came out. It's out. It's here. It's in America. It's the great. I've been waiting for it so long. I loaded it up, Ross. I loaded it up, and then it was like Starship Troopers, baby. I was just fighting bugs left and right. I was just falling to them. Not a good launch. Not a good release, man. It was some Mafia 2 level stuff, you know.
Well, the bugs weren't with the actual game; it was the installer, because you had to download it through the Windows Store, and the Windows Store had its own problems, and then the launcher itself had its own problems afterwards. So it got to the point where people were making like fan made patch workarounds and stuff like that on the launcher to make it work, and it's just
Yeah.
like everyone in my Final Fantasy 14 group were all playing it, and I think 2 of them were able to install it within the first 2 days that it launched. One of them had the game installed, and then they restarted the computer and it uninstalled it. I'm trying to think what else. They had to run a different version of Windows or something like they had to download a newer version of like a Windows update or something like that, and they had to do it through like weird means, and then they had to run it's not as easy as just running it as administrator or running it for Windows Vista or something like that, like you do with other stuff. But it was a mess. Granted, it's an 8-year-old game, so
Yeah, what do you want? It's the unfortunate side effect of, you know, I don't want to say porting, because like you mentioned,
they had 8 years.
It's the launcher and it's the store, but when you start, you're integrating 8-year-old stuff with modern stuff, and it just can get sketchy, and it is what it is. It's kind of like, if you're a game developer, right? And again, like, this is an older game, so a lot of that could have had an effect on the issues that came up. But like, I just don't understand how you don't launch on Steam or like Epic Store. Like, going any of these other means of launching, it just seems as you're signing a potential death warrant for your game.
Well,
right?
because they did the thing with Xbox. Like the big thing is that you're going to be able to play it on Xbox One, and then
Stupid.
Also you can get it on PC. So PC, it's funny because most of the people wanted to play it on PC, but it was the afterthought, because Microsoft was like, we need more games for the Xbox, so please come put this game on your Xbox.
Yeah, that's even dumber. That makes it even worse. You know what I mean? Like, because then you know that the reason the launcher issues and everything were because you said it's an afterthought, right? That's even worse.
Because it works on Xbox just fine.
Yeah. That's so unfortunate, because Phantasy Star is such like I love that property. It's such a cool property. Cool. And just
I'll probably play it.
And just to see, like, when I logged in and it came out and it was like, well, good luck. It's just not happening. And then I even saw a thing today. It popped up. It was like, Sega confirms that they are doing everything they can to fix any issue with Phantasy Star 2 Online for PC in America. And I'm like, that sucks, man. Like, I always feel bad when I see a company have to come out and take like a PR position, like, and this isn't the normal "we hear you." This is the like, okay, our stuff is broken and now we're scrambling to fix it.
Well, usually with like MMO launches, it's like, oh, the servers are messed up, blah 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 blah. Oh, there's this problem. Like the Diablo had the famous error 30 something or whatever, where you just couldn't connect to the server. But with this game, you just can't install it.
Yeah,
and it's like it's harming functions of Windows. I think one of my friends had something. I think his Final Fantasy 14 got bugged too when he installed PSO, because it messed with one of the I don't know anything about computer stuff, man, but it messed with one of the what's like the Microsoft thing that it usually downloads when you install a game. It's like the redistributable thing, and it's like the code funk. Man, hold on. I sound like such a boomer right now. But if I go to like my remove programs, right?
Yeah.
There's the Visual C++ thing.
Yeah.
So you know how it like installs a bunch of those or whatever whenever you install something. I guess that one or whatever, it messed up with Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, that would make sense, because if that library or whatever is basically used by both, and it does any kind of, whatever, it disrupts how it functions, or it otherwise corrupts that install, then you would be in a bad place, because Windows isn't going to double install a program or a set of libraries, right? It's just not. That would be stupid. So if it's a shared common library or installation and it gets corrupted or otherwise messed with, then it's going to mess with anything else that touches that, which is not good.
No.
Not good. That's like, you get your wheel on your car, right? And you got all your spokes going into the middle, and you're like, I'm just gonna punch a hole in the the hub, and then you wonder why everything else doesn't function. I don't know, man. I hope they get it figured out. I don't have time. Like, I'm lucky because I saw this was coming out, and I like MMOs, and I like the Phantasy Star property. And I'm never going to play Final Fantasy 14, so it's either World of Warcraft or something else. And I was like, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't, but I don't have any time, so I was saved from having to deal with it. But it's just sad because, like I said, you want them to do well. And like you said, right, I'm used to seeing issues on MMO launches, but they're always it's never this. It's always server side. It's always on the other side of things, not client side. So, all right. Last topic that's going to lead into our main topic of question mark. Apparently, allegedly, the PS5 pricing will not be affected in any way by COVID-19.
Okay.
So, what I read from this, okay, a lot of people do what you just did. They go, okay.
It shouldn't have been. What do you mean price affected?
Well, here's what you need to understand. There's basically 3 scenarios if this is the case, right? So I look at my variables. I have a constant now. The price is going to be the same. That means either A, Sony's going to take a loss on producing the number of systems that they wanted to, right? Because what we need to understand is COVID-19 did impact supply chain and manufacturing. You can't get around that. To lose a bunch of time and materials on manufacturing, the only way to effectively or appropriately make up for that is to dump a bunch of time in, right? Additional time, overtime, which costs money, or to get supplies at a higher price because now you're getting stuff that's at a higher demand, right? With a lower supply. So if they're going to create as many initial launch units as they initially planned, right? I said initially a bunch of times. Initially. But if they're gonna send out as many launch units as they had planned for, right? They lost time. They lost supplies. It's going to cost them more money, which means that if they do that, they're going to take a loss by not increasing the price on the consoles. The other side of it is that they're not going to increase the production, and then there's going to be a lower quantity of consoles at launch, which means scarcity, right? Lower supply.
I just figured that was what was going to happen anyways.
And then the third thing, which they've said isn't going to happen, right, is that they could have produced more units at not a loss by increasing the price. But they took that out. So I guess really what this tells us in an indirect way is that there were these 3 scenarios, and analysts predicted that there would be scarcity. So that's probably the most likely case, because what we're hearing, the rumors in the industry of the price point of the Xbox are to undermine by $50 to $100 the PS5. And Sony was already talking about taking a thin margin, or analysts were already talking about Sony taking a thin margin to a loss. So they can't take a bigger loss on units to produce the same amount. So it seems like a very indirect story. And like for you and I, this just seems like a no-brainer. Okay, there's either going to be scarcity, which we've talked about on like 3 or 4 different podcasts, or Sony's going to take a bigger loss. But a lot of people are just saying like, yeah, I expected the price not to go up, and they're not thinking about all of these other kind of what this means, right, in the grand scheme of things. A lot of times with news, you can take a little tidbit of information, and if you start to put it together with the rest of the pieces of information you've had for a while, you end up with like a clear picture. The puzzle starts to go together, and you can kind of get a good idea of what's going on. So pre-order your systems next Monday when your local GameStop starts taking pre-orders.
They would never raise the price on that thing. Like, that's just...
No, they can't, especially with Sony. I mean, especially with Xbox coming out and basically they didn't announce it, but with it leaking that the price point's going to be $400 when their price point was already going to be $500. They can't go to $600, right?
Yeah, but even then, what do you do when everything normalizes? You just bump it down to $500? Like, people are going to go insane if you do that.
No, that happens all the time. Think about a 1-year run into consoles when they start to come down. in price.
Well, there's a difference between a sale price and we had to bump the price up because of this pandemic and now things are normal. So we're going to bump the regular price down now to
no,
whatever it was after a year.
No, that happens all the time. You get a console that launches at $500, and then within a year it costs them less to make it, and the price comes down. Not a sales price, like it just
but what I'm talking about
down.
specifically is because of this pandemic.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is no price has been released, so there's nothing to say that they couldn't make it $600 at launch. The reason they're not making it $600 at
we
launch
all know what it is
because everybody is not dumb enough, to buy it. But and I guess now's a good time to go into the main topic, because really the main topic is marketing around console releases and game releases, right? We can make it pretty general, but I'm specifically focused on console releases and the lack of information that comes out, because the whole reason that they can't increase the price at this point is there are so many leaks and speculation and analyst reports that come out because they don't give us any information along the way, because they want to make these big marketing pops and stay relevant, right? So if you look at how a console or even a game is normally discussed or marketed, it's we have a thing, silent period, little bit of information, silent period, actual announcement, and then they kind of go on a steady roll, right? But in every one of those silent periods, you end up with speculation that shapes consumer expectation. And that's really, like, if you go back to that last point about the price not going up, the reason that Sony has no power to change the pricing on it is because in these periods of quiet, there's been speculation and analyst reports coming out saying, $450 to $500. So if Sony comes out anywhere above those price points, like, it's just, they're in trouble. And it hurts them even more that speculation and analyst reports have come out about Xbox being at the $400 price point, because now they're already going to be undercut at launch, presumably, right? So it's like they're almost hamstrung by the standard marketing cycle of how a console gets information about a console gets released. We live in this culture where the companies don't tell you anything, so all of your until a certain point, so all of your information comes from analysts and leaks.
Yeah, but you don't know what's leaked on purpose and what's actually leaked, so it's like really no point talking about those sorts of things.
Well, it's it's silly to leak stuff on purpose, and that's a completely different topic.
Well, you do it to gauge public interest without actually like firmly putting a stance on something.
You can do a market study without releasing a leak and causing speculation and issue. You know what I mean? But look, I don't get paid to do market research, and I don't get paid as a marketing or PR professional. So that's my opinion and not a professional one, other than a longtime gamer. So, but anyway, so I think that marketing cycle, how they market these consoles and these games, is what causes a lot of issues in the gaming industry. We've talked about, show me the gameplay, right? The expectations and the speculation and the consumer kind of expectation around game launches come from this, how do I want to say it? This fabricated utopian view of how the game's going to be. And it's similar with the consoles, which is it's all of the expectations for the consumer come through leaks and speculation and analysis. And I feel like we're coming up on Friday, right? And this is why this is a topic, is we're coming up Friday on Sony's actual PlayStation 5 event. We're going to get actual information. And what's going to come out of this event is 2 to 3 different core things you're going to hear, right? You're going to hear the people that, that analysis, that speculation was right, and they're going to focus on that stuff. Then you're going to hear people that are going to kind of just see things that are kind of cool, and they like, this or that thing got released or announced, it's cool. And they're going to talk about the news. Really, that's what it's going to be, just kind of like the announcements, the news. And then you're going to have a group of people that are pissed off because the speculation and the analysis and everything was wrong, and they had firm expectations that they shouldn't have had, that I just feel like could be controlled better by these companies along the way.
Just by saying stuff more frequently, or like, what are
Yeah,
you trying to
more
say?
frequently or more transparent. I guess what I'm ultimately saying is I think how they market these consoles is broken. I think they do more damage to themselves. And I don't even want to say they do damage to themselves because people are going to buy the consoles anyway. I think that these companies don't have to do anything when they should because at the end of the day, we as consumers will kick and scream and not do anything. Right? Like if I feel like this entire cycle, they announced there's going to be a PS5 and all these leaks and stuff came out and Sony stayed quiet and all this information about pricing and availability came out and Sony stayed quiet. And then Sony comes out and everything they announce on Friday is counter to everything that came up beforehand. I'm going to be mad that Sony didn't dispel or dispute anything that came out beforehand, right? I'm going to be like, I have these expectations around things. Not me personally. This is me, the kind of people in general, right? I'm smart enough to I don't care until they say something. I'm like, you show me the gameplay, show me the console. Like I'll speculate, but I'm not going to get my hopes up, right? But upon the actual day, if everything they say on Friday is different from everything that's come out between them saying the PS5 was real and the actual announcement, I might be pissed off, but it's not going to stop me from going down to GameStop on Monday and pre-ordering it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's ultimately the marketing cycle's broken, but we allow it to be broken, if that makes sense. Like the dissemination of information about games and consoles in the gaming industry in general are broken because the consumer is allowed to basically be kept in the dark and we don't care.
Yeah, but like if you're one of these companies, you can't really like respond to every sort of speculation and leak that people have. I mean, there isn't really anything that kind of needs to be, broken down by them right now. I mean, you're also in a cold war with another company right now. So I mean, if Sony just goes back and like, hey, by the way, this console is going to be $500, and they say that like a year ago or something, like, you don't know how stuff plays out. You might have to change the price because of the global pandemic. You might be able to lower the price a little bit because stuff's cheaper now. But I mean, you can't really. I don't know.
Well,
I want to do the Nintendo thing where they're just like, we don't really respond to leaks and speculation.
see, I'm the other way. I think transparency would do these companies good. And I'm sensitive to that fact. I get that Microsoft was waiting for Sony and Sony was waiting for Microsoft, and you want to be the console that launches first so that like the public has you on their mind, and you always want to be first out of the gate. But pricing wise, you want to wait until you know what the other guy's pricing it at to see how competitive you can get with the price. And I'm not saying that Sony should come out and be like, or Sony at any point should have come out and said, the price is going to be this. I think what they could have come out and said is like, we haven't priced it yet. That's the ballpark. The analysts are in the ballpark. Or we don't even know yet. We can't even comment on that. Right? Because then that gives them the power. If they would have come out when the analysts came out and said the PlayStation 5 is going to be $450 to $500. Okay? And this was 12 episodes ago we talked about this. So 3 months. 3 months ago when that leaked, if they would have come out and said, we honestly don't know. That's good analytical work. We have no idea. We honestly don't know how we're going to price the system. Okay, now if they come out at $600 because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we're like, oh, well, they priced it because that's what it's costing them to produce it today. Right? But by them not saying anything and just letting people run around, like I have literal friends it's the social media platform that I wouldn't say is for the smartest folks or the sharpest tools in the shed, Facebook. But I have people that are like, man, I've got my $500 put aside for PlayStation 5. It's like, well, what if it comes out and it's $700? Like they haven't announced a price, right? And I'm on the side of the companies. I think they do whatever they need to do, honestly. But I just think they could be more transparent about things. And I don't think the consoles, I'm talking a lot about the consoles because of the last topic with the price not changing and kind of the effect that has all around and where they might be in things. But this goes for games too. We've seen it. I mean, we did a whole after show about basically about Mass Effect Andromeda, right? And like the expectation about that and how nothing's honest in the marketing cycle and they're not transparent. And when dates miss, it's always about polishing the game more. It's not like, oh, like I would literally pay more for a game if a company was honest and came out and was like, yeah, it's delayed 6 months because we have something that breaks the entire game and we have to figure out how to fix that, instead of just saying, oh, we need to polish it more. You know what I mean? I just don't think that. I think it's twofold. I think the consumer's not educated enough in general, and then I think the companies aren't transparent enough, right? And I think it's almost cyclical. The more I talk about this, that for every me and you that would enjoy the transparency because we're educated enough, there's like 10 people for the two of us that would be like, what the hell are they talking about? I just want my system. Yeah, exactly. Like it's tons of people, and I feel bad, and I don't even know what to do about it. But the fact that I had to explain what the PS5 price not changing means is just kind of sad, you know? It's just kind of like the fact that there's people out there that just that can't put two and two together, that there's going to be a shortage because they can't change the price because the price was already leaked.
Yeah, but you just default to scarcity.
Yeah. And it's
that's all I was thinking of. Because, I mean, well, scarcity worked the last time. Scarcity worked for the Wii. Scarcity just works, whether it's fake or real. So, I mean, when you're telling me all this stuff about the COVID and the pricing, I'm just like, why would you throw out 100 consoles at like a set price when you can just throw out like 20 or 30 at the price you want, and then, you know, people go crazy over it because they can't have it, because, you know, the sociology and all this is just people are absolutely crazy insane, and if they can't have a thing, they're gonna rip and claw and fight someone in a Target parking lot to get the thing they want.
Yeah, and I get like the scarcity is the safer play than raising the price, obviously. Yeah. But the way I look at it is, if they're going to beat Microsoft, this is specifically for Sony, like what Sony has acknowledged puts Microsoft, I think, in a stronger position for the next console cycle, because Microsoft is going to come out at a lower price point. Okay. Microsoft will likely find the same issues in their kind of production timelines and the scarcity of the components they need to build the Xbox Series X. And when you're, especially right now in this world economy, post-COVID, when you go to a Target or a GameStop or wherever, Best Buy, and there's a PS5 for $500 and there's a Xbox for $400, you're going to grab the Xbox, right? But when all the Xboxes are gone, if there were PS5s available, even if they were $600, that's a place for Sony to capitalize, to actually have units available.
We saw that actually did not happen last time.
Well, because
that was not a thing.
Well, that's because Xbox had the stupid Kinect. I firmly believe that if Xbox One came out without the Kinect, they would, when they were available and the PlayStation 4s were gone, Xbox would have sold more units.
Yeah.
For sure. So, and that's what I'm kind of thinking about when I say that. When I say if there were no Xbox Series X's in the cabinets, but there were PS5s, and the PS5s were still $200 more than the Xbox Series X, it's not $200 more because there's a stupid Kinect attached. It's $200 more because they were able to produce more units. But again, they can't do that because there's no transparency in the process, and now they're tied to a price point effectively. And look, I think it'd be awesome if Sony came out and took a massive loss and sold them for $400 and took it right to Xbox. Right? Like that, I'd be cool with that too. That was one of the scenarios. They take a loss, they produce more units, or they intake a loss, or they just take a loss and they try to get their console to be the main console. Because what this all comes down to is these companies don't make money off of the consoles. The consoles are just the install base to sell the games. And I'm thinking of how this scarcity affects developers more than I care about how they affect Sony or Xbox or Microsoft, right? If I'm luckily with new consoles, it's mainly first party or associated kind of large companies that are relying on the sell of the game, and they kind of have the backing from Sony and Microsoft to, you know, hey, we want you to make this launch game for the console. But and so they should be okay. But like you said, if they sell 20 units instead of 100, that's 80 games I can't sell as a developer suddenly, right? So it's tough, and I get it. But I think some transparency along the way would be better.
Yeah, but what if they're transparent and they put out a price, then all of a sudden they got to pivot to it, and then people go absolutely crazy?
Well, then being transparent about the price would be, we don't know.
Well, yeah, but like beforehand, if they were like, okay, yeah, 500, and then all this stuff happens, it's like, okay, we can't do 500. People go berserk if something gets pushed back 2 months. Like, you can't be transparent with these people because they're not smart. They freak out.
This
conversation mad over release dates. You and I, yes, we read these stuff and they're like, oh yeah, you got to push it back, but like it's not about you and me. Like, it's about the people that don't have brain cells and go on Twitter and they're like, why is this getting pushed back? I'm so sick and tired of all these companies doing this. They just want the extra money from me. Blah, blah, blah. Why is there DLC? I already paid $60 for this game and now I gotta pay $20 and then I gotta do this. And it's just, I'm so sick of these people. And these are the people they have to work with. They don't care about us. We're reasonable people. We're gonna be like, okay, 600, whatever. No, that's fine. I understand. You know, all the business stuff, and then the supply chain here, and this here, and then blah blah blah. $600. Okay, bang. $600. You got your homies on Facebook like, I'm so sick of all these companies doing this. I'm never playing video games ever again. I'm going back to RuneScape. Like,
yeah, no,
I hate people, dude.
I was just gonna say, like, this entire conversation has devolved to, I want more transparency because I'm a smart person. But the more I talk, the more I realize it's just not tenable, because that's the 0.1% of people that they're catering to. Yeah, and it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with games. The more I think about it too, right? It's sad, but they don't care. Really. Like, if you make a Watch Dogs 1 trailer and you get to sell, or I'll do an even better one. If you do a Homefront, okay, you get your Homefront trailer, it looks so good, it's going to be better than Call of Duty, and then the game's 3 hours long and the multiplayer is broken, right? They don't care. They sold all those units. You know, the studio gets burned, kind of, right? Because then nobody kind of trusts them moving forward, but they sold the units by, I don't want to say being dishonest, because they weren't. They put out a trailer. It's not their fault that people think that the trailer equates to gameplay. It's the same thing here. I guess it's not really Sony or Microsoft's fault to, I guess, to cater to these people that don't understand that speculation and analyst reports do not equate to the company's position on anything. I would just love for them, it's turning into a personal thing. I would just love for them to come out and be like, nah, your price is wrong. Right? Like, just, no, stop saying that. That's false. But with all the angry out of the way.
I'm looking for the Naughty Dog tweet where they say Last of Us is getting delayed, just so I can scroll through and see all the people that are mad. And boy, they are mad.
Oh, well, Lord. So now that you've filled your role as mad guy, what I like to do is have a little bit of fun. Because we do have the PlayStation 5 reveal show coming on Friday. And what I want to do is I want to make some wagers with you.
No.
I'm going to make candy wagers, baby. I'm putting
wagers.
I'm putting up Watermelon Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, those are my favorite.
And you're going to have to put up Gummy Bears, because those are my favorite. Okay. All right.
The Haribo ones, right? Those are the ones you like?
Hell yeah. All right. So, though I'm on a diet, so I'll have to put them away for a cheat day.
No, you're just going to eat them.
I'm just going to. They're only like 100 calories for 13. It's not that bad. They're not the worst candy in the world. Okay. You can tell they're my favorite candy because I know exactly how many I can have for one individual serving. All right. So let's go calculator. All right. What do you want to set in the line for over under on amount of times the word teraflops is said during?
I'm gonna say 2.5.
2.5 is the over under. All right. 2.5 on teraflops. I'm taking this down. 2.5.
Oh, you're actually writing this. Okay.
Oh yeah, teraflops. All right. Okay. I like that for Sony, because Sony's not a teraflops company.
Yeah, they don't care.
They really don't, but they have to address the teraflops conversation because it's Xbox's big thing. So,
yeah.
Are you over or under 2.5 teraflops?
How do we know how long this thing is?
Oh, geez, that's a good question.
Because if this is just like an hour video, I'm gonna say under.
PS5 event.
Because you know Sony, they're gonna like talk about the thing, but like 80% of it's just gonna be, oh, look at these indie games we got. Oh, there's a lot of indie games. Here's these indie games. Oh, they're unreal. Honestly, I want to go under, dude.
You're gonna go under.
I think they're gonna say the teraflops and like that's it.
Yeah, I think.
Don't they have less than Microsoft? So
They
like, why
do.
are they talking? Yeah. So why are they talking about a thing that
Yeah,
they lose in? Like, yeah, they're gonna go under.
they're gonna go under. All right, I agree with you. So, I think that is we're gonna have to move the line. 1.5.
1.5. Oof. I was at 2 for mine.
So you're gonna go over on teraflops on 1.5. We got
Yeah.
we got bets. We got bets.
I'm gonna go 2 because what's gonna happen is they're gonna say teraflop, and then the guy's gonna say, "What's a teraflop? Let me explain teraflop," and then it's 2.
Okay, I'm going under.
I'm going over.
I literally think they're just gonna say, "Here's the specs," and they're gonna
Okay.
mention teraflops one time, and that's it. Okay.
I think it's gonna be 2, but
Okay. Number 2. How many indie games do you?
oh my god,
How many indie games do you think that they? We got to figure out the right way to say this, right? We have to put the right framing around it. So they're going to show a shit ton of indie games. It's Mark that's the second S.
no, we're PG-13 now.
We're PG-13. We're moving into our territory if I give 2 more. So they're going to show a lot. We know that. They talk about a few and then they show like a bunch. So do we want to over under on like the ones they specifically talk about by title?
How about this?
Because I'm not going to sit there and count every single indie game they show in the indie game trailer. I'm just
I'm gonna.
I'm going. Oh jeez.
How about this?
Okay.
We put a number in whoever's closer.
Okay. So
Instead of
whoever's
doing over under.
Okay.
Because you try and go over under on those things, I'm gonna go like under every time.
I'm gonna
go
over.
over. I mean, yeah.
It's like, we could say 100. I'd be like, they're doing 103.
They're doing,
yeah. Okay. So, so do you want indie titles they cover by name, or do you want to do like total showed in their indie trailer? Okay, so by name. Right. How many indie games do you think they're talking by name?
Oh man, I really want to go sub 20, but I know it's gonna be above 20. Ugh, I'm thinking like it's a good like even roundish number.
Here's a good question: is this Price is Right rules, like closest without going over, or is it just pure closest?
Oh no, it's whoever's closest.
Okay, so whatever.
No Price is Right hitting me with like 15 or 16, like none of that.
Because then I'm just saying 0 and hoping you go over. All right.
I'm thinking like 15.
Ross says 15.
Well, they already did the 11, so they're not going to show all 11 again.
No,
because half of them are just they kind of look like something that you would do after doing like a Udemy tutorial.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
That's fine. So
no, not to you, to the developers in Spain.
I'm literally, mine looks the way it looks because I am editing it based on a Udemy tutorial. So Ross is saying 15. I typed 25 and that's not going to age well. Indie games by name. Damn, dude.
I feel like that's kind of high too.
The problem is I was gonna say 15, so I gotta figure out, am I gonna go 14 or 16?
Are you gonna go 10 or are you gonna go 20?
I'm saying 14.
Oh, your Price is Right me.
Yeah, 14 indie games.
Yeah.
So I'm basically playing.
So the over under is 14.5.
Exactly. So that's the game I'm playing because it's much easier to win in a game of over under. All right. Is there anything you want to wager on specifically?
How many new games that we haven't seen yet?
Oh, geez. That's a good one.
And it can be Sony exclusive, non-Sony exclusive, stuff we have not heard of yet.
Okay, so you're going like world premiere. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Do you want to go over under?
Or whatever space is going to show up.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go over under. Yep. Yeah. But I don't think it's a lot.
I don't think it's a lot either.
I don't think it's a lot. I want to say 4.5.
4.5. Okay.
I want to say 5.5, but because I'm thinking 5.
All right, so you're going over.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I'm going under because I think they're gonna do 3. All right, Dan is under on that one.
Freaking Knack makes its illustrious return.
Oh, please
for
no.
Knack 3.
Please no. Please no.
We got Killzone. All right, what Sony IPs have we not heard of for a while? Like Killzone hasn't been in for a while.
But those guys are worked on that Ghost of Tsushima, didn't they?
I thought it was Sucker Punch.
Oh, maybe it was Sucker Punch. Crap.
I don't know, man.
Whatever. Okay, so the last one. So all of these, the winner gets one container bag thing.
Okay.
99 cent, $1.50, whatever the basic container is. This next one is like the jumbo bag. Okay, this is the share. This is the share bag. We're each gonna make one off the cuff prediction about something that's gonna happen, be announced, be done during the PlayStation 5 event. And if we get it right, the other person has to get the big bag. The big bag. And this is a good one because we could both technically win because we're just making a wild prediction.
A wild prediction.
I mean, it doesn't have to be super
I feel
wild.
like you have one in mind. That's why you made this.
No, I don't. I love when other people do these for like E3 and stuff. So I'm just like, screw it. Let's go with a wild prediction.
All right. I'm thinking. Oh, what's like a big thing that they're gonna focus on? I want to say that there's gonna be something super big about like backwards compatibility.
Okay, so Ross.
Wait, isn't there? No. Wait, I think there already is. I think they've already said something about that. I don't want to cheat.
Okay, I can give you.
Let me do the quick Google.
Yeah, do the quick Google. Make sure you're not like straight.
I think they've talked about this already. Yeah. Backwards compatibility will cover all PS2, PS3, PS4 games. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's why I thought of that because it's already a thing.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Okay.
You gotta have a crazy one.
Oh. All right. Dan, you can't think of one.
I have one.
Okay, so please tell me yours.
Okay. We're going to hear a big announcement about PSVR 2.0.
PSVR 2.0.
Yeah, PSVR. Or I guess I should word it in a different way. There's going to be a VR announcement. And not like a game, like a VR hardware announcement. Sony's either going to talk about their commitment to VR and that there's a PSVR 2.0 like coming, or they're going to partner with somebody that already has like a solid VR footprint.
So do you really think they're going to drop a console that's more expensive than an Xbox, then also be like, hey, also we're doing this VR thing that's also going to be an extra thing that's going to cost a lot of money?
I do, yep.
Because I mean, like if you're thinking about VR headsets, you get Valve Index, which is like $1,000 or something like that, and then you have Oculus Rift and all that stuff that's like $500. So you're essentially buying another console if you want to actually compete with PC games.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, big ballers only in the Sony HQ.
Yep.
No pores allowed if you want a PS5.
Yep. Let's go.
Christ, man.
Didn't that happen? That was terrible. That was the guys on it. Oh God, what are the Wormwood? Did you see that? The guys that make all the like really high end like gaming tables and dice and stuff like that. They put together a list of like dumb advertising things, and then they were going to make a video about it where they were going to basically do a YouTube video where they were going to go down and just like scratch all these bad like advertising slogans and ideas, and they put it in a spreadsheet, and apparently the ad agency they were working with thought that meant they were approved, and they literally published one that was like Wormwood tabletop supplies for not poor people. and like it was, I felt so bad because like I've met the owner, and the owner was like, guys, I've been poor above my garage above my parents' garage starting this company. Like there was no intention of doing that. But anyway, when you said that, I just laughed because I was like, I saw a company actually get in trouble for using that.
Okay.
Ross with the big ball it takes. Let's go. Pretend it's a quarterback and rank it, baby. Let's go.
No, you're all right. So you're thinking VR.
Yep, VR 2.0 is coming.
Okay. I'm thinking like game related. I'm thinking like something gaming that we haven't seen. Because as much as I want to make a really cool off the cuff thing, I just know it's gonna be boring. The whole thing's gonna be, hey, we have indie games. Hey, we have PlayStation Now. You can stream all these games. Oh, so like they're gonna do the backwards compatibility thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd be like, hey, it's backwards compatible. Then they're gonna be like, oh, well, the ones that aren't backwards compatible, you can play on PlayStation Now. I would love to see them do something where either PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus is just like the price just sort of gets combined into one another. Because buying a system, paying for online, and then paying for this dumb streaming service that doesn't really work that well,
Okay, so you're saying
not ideal to me.
so are you saying PS Now consolidates with
Well, I'm
PS
not
Plus?
saying that. I think they're gonna do some. They're gonna do something very big pricing related in regards to PlayStation Network. Like they're gonna make it more enticing to be on PlayStation Plus.
Okay.
Other than, hey, here's this really dumb game that you don't care about for free.
My second, if I didn't go with the VR headset stuff, was going to be something to do with cloud gaming. I was gonna because like with basically Xbox xCloud being such a big focus, I kind of feel like yours is probably a much safer bet than mine, because my real gut feeling is that PlayStation is going to do with VR what they did with the Vita and just kind of like let it die a slow and painless death and just let it fade away. But we'll see. VR gaming is getting a lot better. So maybe they double down because they already have the technology there. But anyway, that's why it's a baseless, just throw it out there.
You need some like hardcore market research to figure out whether or not that's viable, because how many people have actually bought a PlayStation Now and use it frequently, and then you got to go to a developer and be like, hey, make a PlayStation VR game. By the way, only 5% of the people that have a PlayStation 4 have bought this.
Yeah.
And out of that 5%, maybe like 1% of that 5% will actually buy your game.
Yeah, because like, not to turn this, we'll go into esports news here in a minute, but the problem with VR is that you need a pretty strong computer to run it at all. And then like to run it well, you need a very nice headset and a very nice graphics card. So when you start, I've always felt like the PSVR is just a very good like baby's first VR headset.
Yeah,
like it's a great entry to it, but you need like a $3,000 computer and a $1,000 headset, and that's like when you can really experience VR. Because even like Tom has the Oculus, and it's really cool. But I've seen some people playing games in some of those like really high end headsets with the high field of view and like the 4K display, and there's no pixel like the screen dooring effect at all. And I'm like, damn, dude, like it's crazy. So anyway,
we want it to be the future so bad, but it's so far out there right now.
Yeah,
we're just so desperate.
We've got very good proof of concept, and like you said, we're desperate. Like I've played some stuff that's really promising, and I'm like, damn, man, I really want it to be good, but it's just it's so hard. So
I just don't feel like any of the cloud stuff is viable until fiber becomes just like a standard.
Well, the problem honestly is not the fiber to the demarcation point. It's the fact that we're not running fiber internally. We're still running copper. So like until you have fiber everywhere for infrastructure, and then you don't change it over to copper, and copper is plenty fast, but if you want like true like through and through high speed, you go fiber to fiber all the way, and then into the house, into the modem, and then that would be like the best we're gonna get. But
yeah, we're so far off from that though. It seems.
It's true.
So. And again, they want to get their precious cloud gaming, but they want to get the car, but the wheels aren't on all the way, right? And it's just like, come on.
Yeah, they're like, go.
They're like, we partnered with this cloud gaming. Why don't you partner with Google Fiber and just like help us all get internet? That's what I want.
Bro, I wanted that Google internet so bad. And here I am on my Comcast, which I'd like to thank Comcast from the bottom of my heart for the first time on a Sunday, not like rate limiting my internet. Damn, dude. But anyway, I'm interested. Next week will be fun to see where we are on the old wagers. So anyway.
No, I just don't. Honestly, I don't think we're gonna get anything too crazy.
We're gonna get the console. We're gonna get a price. We're gonna get a release.
Are we sure about that?
I'm pretty sure we'll get like a release. Sure? We're gonna get some games. Some are gonna be definitely during launch. Some are gonna be in the launch window. air quotes, which is anywhere 12 months after the system comes out.
Yeah.
And they're going to be not very clear about that. And then next Monday, you're going to be able to go to your retailer and pre-order the system. I think that's the best case. I don't even have high hopes for that, but I think that's the best case.
Do you want the, I don't want to say the doom and gloom because that's not good, but do you want the in Ross's mind what is going to happen with this? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to set the stage. We're going to this Friday coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have the whole thing. PlayStation's going to be like, okay, well, here's this system. It's $500. Here's Knack 3, Killzone something, Uncharted 5, where you play as the characters you don't really care about from the older games because whatever. And the games are going to be underwhelming. And they're going to do like some cinematic trailers for some games that aren't going to come out for 3 years. And it's going to be like, did you ever see the Metroid Prime one? The Prime 4?
Yes.
Where the whole trailer is just like in deep space and it's a whole minute of it zooming out to a 4.
Yeah.
And then the Metroid Prime, that's the whole trailer. I think we're going to get probably like 4 or 5 of those. We're going to get like an Unreal 5 tech demo, and it's like we're not going to see anything. And then they're going to, here's the controller, here's, we changed the name of the share button to the something else, and you get to do this. And then the controller can, it can read your heart rate and your fingertips. So when you play Resident Evil 8, and then like the game adjusts to the AI and it sees that, your heart rate's up. So the game's going to get a little bit harder, blah, blah, blah. And it's like all this stuff we don't care about. It's like the Wii U thing where, oh, look at all these cool little features and the bells and whistles, but like the games aren't that good. Yeah. I think it's going to be something like that. And then the consoles are going to launch. You're not going to be able to find a couple of them for the first few months, blah, 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 blah. But then when the consoles come out, there's going to be 4 games. 2 of them aren't very good, because you got Knack 3. Knack 3 is not looking too hot again because it's just a tech demo.
Ray
what
tracing.
Are you gonna do? Yeah, it's like a ray tracing. And then we're going to have all the... There's going to be like 3 or 4 actual PlayStation 5 games. And then there's going to be 10 to 15 Madden, NBA, 2K, just ports from the older consoles. And so that's all you got. And then February is going to come along, and then we're going to get maybe 1 or 2 games. And then it's going to be March, April. And then, that game that was supposed to come out in spring got pushed back to the summer. And, that makes sense because usually games launch in the summer. That June window, that's a big one for games. And it's going to get pushed back to the November. And they're like, yeah, that's super smart. Get there for the holidays. That's what we want to see. And then we're just going to be here next year, same time. And it's going to be, wow, hey, they're finally coming out with that trailer for that game that was supposed to launch like a month ago, and then 3 months ago, and then 4 months ago. Yeah, that one that they showed at the press conference for the Sony. Yeah, I remember that. And then next year, not next time around Christmas time, then we're gonna start actually getting like a couple, good games. We get The Last of Us 4 because they skipped 3 because there was a problem with over in like the Middle East or something. They don't like the number 3, so we actually want Last of Us over there, so we changed The Last of Us 4, and then. I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, I
hate to just be doom and gloom, but the console's gonna be cool. It's gonna come out. It's gonna have some cool stuff. But I mean, it's not. We're not gonna see the effects of it. Like we talked about this last time with the Unreal. We're not gonna see the effects of it for 2-3 years. So I mean, us fist fighting people in a Target parking lot to get our PlayStation 5 launch day. It's like, okay, cool. Can't wait to play Madden 2022 or whatever it is. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and it's like every launch of, like, we've seen so many. Sev said it right. Every console release in history ever. We've lived through all of these. It's the same thing. They're always super hopeful and like positive about it, and then it's the same thing. It's the same thing every single time. You get your Thief, which like looks really promising, but then it's really like an on rails nothing game. And
I remember that one. What was that one? The 1887 game or whatever.
That game was so cool in concept.
Yeah.
And then like it was just Gears of War.
The game was so.
That was.
I remember that was in one of the initial PlayStation 4 trailers. This game's coming out in the launch window eventually.
Yeah, it came out 3 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's super cool. It's cinematic. Look at the graphics.
That should have been my thing. We're gonna get an 1887. The Order 1880. We're getting a new one.
We're gonna get 1888.
Yeah, we're skipping.
That's what it was. The Order.
Yeah, the Order. I actually got the collector's edition of that Yeah, I was very disappointed. The
What a bad
statue was dope because it was a werewolf attacking a guy, but like other than that. But anyway, let's move on to esports, Ross.
Esports.
I'm a pet signed with 100 Thieves.
Okay.
He's a CS:GO player. He's gonna play CS:GO.
Coach.
Whatever. He's a CS:GO guy. He's gonna go over to
Established. EG, NRG, Optic, CLG. You name a top tier esports org, he's been there.
Yeah.
Now he's going to another top tier esports org.
that has a lot of money. Like this is how. Spoiler: if esports teams have lots of money, they buy good coaches and players.
Yeah. So
Ian. That's
people getting paid is good.
Yeah. Get paid. I want to get paid. You hear me, Paul? You hear me, Paul? Anyway, Dignitas picks up Daradoc. You said this was a funny one, so I'm gonna let you.
This is a funny one because Team Solo Mid is just in. How do I say this? They've made a couple oopsies over the last couple months. One of them we talked about, it was when they signed Double Lift.
Mm-hmm.
They traded for Double Lift from Team Liquid. Double Lift is dating the president of TSM.
Yep.
Lena or whatever her name is. I don't know if she's like the actual president, but she's like way up there. And the Dardoc thing is funny because again, conflict of interest. Double Lift and this girl are living together, and he's streaming, and she was talking about the Dardoc guy like on the phone, and her words were, I forget the actual quote like word for word, but it was like, "I'm trying, nobody wants Dardoc," and basically said like, "I'm trying to trade, but nobody wants it," and just like tanked his value, right?
Yeah.
So they release this guy and promote their academy player or whatever. So they're the AAA guy. They called up the guy to the big leagues, and then this Dardoc guy gets released and then just immediately gets signed by a team. So because she was like very dumb and just said all this stuff accidentally on a guy's stream, and then the actual smart org was like, why am I going to bid against myself if nobody wants him? I'm just going to wait till he gets released and then I'm going to sign him. Like, that's kind of like sports 101 stuff. Because we're like, we think about that and we're like, no owner is going to be like, man, I'm trying to trade this guy, but nobody wants him. He sucks. Like, what do you mean?
That's hilarious. Yeah, I had, my buddy had messaged me about that story, and he was like, can you believe this? The president of his org is tanking his value on stream, like right now. Yeah, that's hilarious though. That's God, esports is such a mess, man.
Yeah, so there's like a whole mess. Like TSM had to come out and be like, yeah, well, there's no conflict of interest between Double Lift and Lena because they're removed enough from the situation. But apparently they live together, so not very removed because she's doing actual like TSM work, trying to trade people in the same room while Double Lift is streaming, and the noise gate's not in the right spot. The excuse she had was that Double Lift switched PCs and OBS was set to like the default settings, so the noise gate wasn't altered, which is kind of like, well, if you're gonna stream, I feel like that's sort of the first thing you
get your settings.
Yeah, like if you're on a new computer, you download OBS and you set up your little scenes and you're like, okay, here's my webcam, I'm gonna put it here, and oh, here's my mic, oh, I'm gonna adjust my noise gate. That's like the first thing you do, right?
Yeah.
So she's like, yeah, it was a new PC and he didn't mess with the noise gate, so I'm gonna sit in the same room and be like, hey, this guy sucks. I'm trying to trade for him, but his team, like, he just sucks. No one wants him. And it's funny because there's a clip going around from like a week prior to that, and he's like, babe, the chat can hear you.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because he knew the noise gate was messed up and still didn't fix it.
Oh, man. That's so funny. How many viewers do you have again?
We get to talk about TSM again, by the way.
Oh, do we? When?
In the next topic.
Oh, Ninja?
Yeah.
Hosting Fortnite? So Ninja's hosting Fortnite tournaments. Let's talk about TSM again.
Okay,
Ross.
well, Ninja hosted a Fortnite tournament, and this is important because it was invite only. Mm-hmm. So the stack of Toaster Strudel 14 and Nutri-Grain Bar 57, they couldn't make it in the open qualifiers like they usually do. So it was invite only, actual esports players, not just some random 14-year-old kids. But the main news of this is that a player called TSM Zexro, or I can't pronounce his name. It's like a weird thing. Zexro, I think. Again, I don't care because it's Fortnite. Battle Royale games aren't actual esports. Don't at me. I don't care. Fortnite, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, Apex Legends, like these aren't actual esports. Please stop trying to make it esport. Play an actual esport game.
Ross
But
with the heat.
yeah, Ninja's hosting his own tournament for it because the actual normal esports league or whatever, like they don't like it for whatever reason. But yeah, so this TSM guy won with his stack of 2 friends, and they go to interview him, and I'll give him credit. He didn't say the epic gamer word.
Oh, jeez.
But he said, all these people could S my D and F them. They're a bunch of brain dead Fs and blah, blah, blah. So Ninja's a pretty, family friendly guy. Hey guys, I'm hosting a Fortnite tournament. Let's go interview the winners. Yo, F these dudes. They can S my D. They're a bunch of brain dead losers.
Yeah. That's Ninja did like he was really smart in staying relevant and in growing his audience, in that he made that decision to go family friendly for a game that mostly kids were playing. You know what I mean? Like that was, from a business standpoint, like that was a really smart move for him. But yeah, that's hilarious that you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like you can't go on this guy who's got a family friendly image in general and go on his thing and just start, doing everything but the epic gamer word. It doesn't make sense.
Like I said, it's, I'll give him credit. Didn't say the N word. Fortnite, leaps and bounds. We're improving as a society now.
Isn't that terrible that's like that's the bar? It's like, did you have somebody pop off in your esport and use the N word? Like use a racial slur? Oh, they didn't? Oh, good. No. That's good. That's so bad, man. That's so bad.
I know we don't have like an after show, but I'm gonna give you this link.
Okay.
And you can like mute. No, you can like mute your sound. I think. I just like it's like 20 seconds.
I ain't muting ish, bro.
Well, there's cursing.
Okay, I'm gonna mute my mic and listen to this real quick.
Well, you can't. Well, you muting your mic doesn't affect the computer sound that's coming when you're streaming it.
Oh, you're right. All right.
Yeah,
give me 2 seconds to mute everything. I'm gonna watch this. There's gonna be a weird pause in the audio podcast that I'll clip out. That I will clip.
Well, yeah, you can clip this part out, and then for the actual Twitch stream, they can hear it live. No censors.
We're muting it. All right. Bro, even the people interviewing him were like, whoa, okay, that's that, I guess.
Thank you for representing professional esports organization Team Solo Mid.
Wow, that's insane. Okay, anyway, that was good. Thank you for the lulz. Anybody can go find that clip anywhere you want. It was very it's so funny because it started so like, he was like, yeah, thanks. Anyway, basically they can all, I was like, what?
I want to thank my mom and God, and by the way, F these kids.
Exactly. Wow. All right. On to some Valorant. Actually, the end of the show is 3 Valorant topics in a row. It's Valorant, right. Valorant.
Valorant sucks. That's the whole show. There
Boom.
You go. Thanks
good
for coming,
day.
guys.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
Let it rip.
Okay, what do you actually want to talk about?
We got a new Valorant agent coming. She's got some cool stuff.
I mean, we don't know the exact thing. We don't know like timers and how much it costs. So I don't want to be like, man, this character seems kind of busted.
So anyway, here is what is rumored. Big rumors, okay? It's Reyna. She's from Mexico. She's got, which is cool because the new map is also Mexico, right? You said. You're muted.
Finally, a new map.
Okay, your noise gate didn't pick up your yes. You're good.
Okay.
All right. So apparently, allegedly, her passive is that eliminated enemies will leave an orb upon death. She can collect the orbs to heal to maximum health for 3 seconds. She can collect an orb to become invulnerable for a short period of time. If she combines this with her ult, it will make her invisible. That's her Q and then her E respectively. Her C will be, she launches an orb that remains out for a few seconds. Enemies in her field of vision are blinded. And then her ultimate will increase her rate of fire, reduce her recharge time, and allow her to use her skills faster.
And this is why everyone went back to Counter-Strike in their respective game.
Yeah, I mean, Summit said it, right? That he thinks that ultimately the champions, the agents, are what's going to kill the game. So that's that. I don't want to, Ross has been very vocal about his not having fun with Valorant. I haven't played Valorant since Ross stopped playing Valorant. Most of my friends haven't played Valorant since Ross stopped playing Valorant. So I think we're all in agreement here that Valorant is, it's
not fun.
Not that fun. So, so anyway, she's supposed to launch at launch. Whoa, double launch. Twitch. So all three of these kind of tie together, right? So we have this new Valorant agent. She's supposed to come out at launch. Valorant did a lot of work with Twitch through the entire beta period, including doing the key drops, the Twitch, the Twitch Rivals streams, the competitions, all that stuff. So these three tie together. She's coming out at launch. Valorant has again partnered with Twitch to do a Twitch Rivals tournament or series of tournaments at launch to promote the game launch, which is important because Valorant has steadily been dropping down the Twitch viewership hours, right? So these three things all tie together. Riot is putting a lot of money into Twitch and their influencers, right, to make people have to see this game and put it in front of them. And every time the money dries up and these influencers stop or Twitch stops, you can watch the viewership drop, right? Which I think gives us a pretty honest opinion of where this game's going to end up in the grand scheme of things. It's going to be really hot up front because the marketing's going to be awesome. And then, people are going to drop off and it's going to become a smaller sub-community in esports. Even though they're trying to become the hot new esport, I just don't think, they'll be hot for now, for a while, but I don't think they're going to have that staying power. And you can see it. You can just see the amount they're relying on influencers and Twitch and money to push this in front of people. I'm not faulting them for it. It's smart. They've got the money. They got all of China's money behind them. Go ahead and do it. But it's just it's really ultimately it's kind of false.
I feel like it's disingenuous to say like, oh, the views are dropping because it's not really a story. It's more like it's more like the viewers are just like normalizing.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The right way to say it is that in the top 10, they are steadily losing places in the top 10 of the most average viewed, which again is a little disingenuous in that just chatting is the highest viewed category, but just chatting is literally anything. It's absolutely but it's anything. The NASA launch, the SpaceX NASA launch was just chatting.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's anything. So it's hard. But like you said, it's not, I'm not saying it's news. It was just an interesting stat. And we've talked about it. A lot of what had them so high on that list anyway was the newness of it and the drops and the influence.
Because people had like 100 accounts on Twitch trying to get keys. That's why.
Exactly. And you had influencers like Summit and Nade and Pokimane and all these people. Everybody. Tim the Tatman. Like everybody. If you were a Twitch partner, you were getting paid to play Valorant for that first week.
Yeah,
it is what it is. So
I'm sure there's people that were genuinely interested in it. Like when you say it like that, you're just like, oh, these people are just getting paid to play this game, and they wouldn't play it otherwise.
Oh no, I'm that's not. Look, I'm sure people like Summit, who was a CS:GO pro, was interested in playing the game and also got paid to play it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I don't want to make it sound like they would be nowhere near the game if they weren't getting paid. Yeah. But so that's interesting. And we talked a little bit about this too, but like I hate Twitch Rivals. I hate this whole like Twitch is trying to become the only source of gaming anything.
Well, no. That's not the problem.
No, that's my problem with them. That's my problem with them.
They're not trying to become the preeminent esports thing.
Yes, they are.
The Twitch Rivals thing is just like a bunch of community players. Like they don't like. There's a couple pro players now and then, but they don't actually. If they actually did what you're saying, they would actually do things like have actual teams playing against each other.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is it's not like the preeminent esports thing. They're trying to become like a central unit for all things video gaming, in that like there's Twitch Rivals is expanding into trying to bring in news coverage. They're trying to bring in community events. They're trying to bring in they're trying to bring in more. Like they're trying to grow Twitch Rivals to become, I hate to say it, but like what I was reading in a business article was basically they want to slowly turn Twitch Rivals into a community driven like ESPN of gaming. Which, like, I like Twitch as a platform, and I don't mind the Rivals thing with like highlighting or showcasing community members. I just don't need Amazon owning another portion of my life. Is ultimately what it comes down to.
I don't think that's gonna be the case, man, because the Twitch Rivals things are just like little tournaments with streamers they put on now and then. And then, yeah, they have people like covering it and stuff like that. But I mean, those people are usually in the community anyways.
Yeah.
Like the Rainbow Six one, it's like all the people commentating on it are just the same casters that ESL has. Like, it's just the same people.
Yeah, and this Twitch Rivals tournament, and like just to loop it back in, because my problems aren't related exclusively to this, right? Is that my problems with Twitch Rivals is what their future business might look like. This Twitch Rivals tournament around Valorant is exactly what you're talking about, right? It's getting big content creators to play in a tournament on the Twitch Rivals channel to put eyes on it. That's ultimately what this marketing deal is. Like that's what the partnership is. So
I think you're doing like the 5G causes like brain damage thing, and it's like, okay, Dan, like it's just a tournament.
No, my problem isn't with this tournament.
Yeah, I know, but like your point is like you're going way far down the line. And it's like, okay, well, it's not relevant right
my
now.
point is when I looked into the Twitch Rivals tournament, I ended up down a rabbit hole of business articles where I was reading about the future of Twitch Rivals, which I don't like the direction they're going. I don't care. I don't go on Twitch Rivals and watch these community tournaments. It is what it is. Like I didn't know about this entire like future of Twitch Rivals until today.
Yeah, so, I don't know, man. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I do. I don't want my Amazon. Amazon is giving me brain control, mind wave, flat Earth. You know.
I just hate it because I don't care about like any of the people that play in it usually. Like I want to see actual teams. Like I hate the times where they do casual stuff in a competitive atmosphere. Like that's just, it doesn't appeal to me as an esports fan.
Yeah, it's you know what it is. It's what we were talking about last week. It's like if we tried to spin off our beer league softball as some pro event, right? Like if ESPN aired us playing beer league softball on a Saturday.
Yeah.
That's what like Twitch Rivals kind of is to an esports fan. There's plenty of people that just want to watch the content creators play and they're fine with that. Right?
Yeah, go to YouTube.
But
go to YouTube. We don't want you here.
Get lost. So, but yeah, so I thought that was all interesting. Valorant's going to be in the news a lot in the esports stuff regardless for a while. It's everything else. I saw your tweet about Rainbow Six and how everybody's watching like a charity tournament thing and like there's just nothing. People are starved for like real esport content. I was reading another article.
We haven't got anything since like March. Yeah, like March. Early March. No, February, because that's when the invitational was.
Yeah. And I've been reading a lot of stuff. Like when I was down that rabbit hole on the Twitch Rivals becoming ESPN of the gaming world, I was also came across. Look, man, I trust the analysts. Go back to my rant about how I don't trust the analysts, and I trust the analysts. But the one article that I happened upon during that research that was pretty interesting was the whole knock-on effect of esports going from LAN to WAN, which we kind of talked about, and how it's like it's keeping esports alive for now, but it's causing some other issues. And basically most people can't wait to get back to LANs, which makes sense. Like it is what it is. But content's going to be a little light until they can get back to that, because it's just going to be different content and whatnot. So until Valorant drops the Valorant League, I just don't care. And honestly, I probably won't care that much then, except for my boys.
You'll care when someone says the N-word and we have to talk about it on the weekend.
Exactly.
That's when you'll care about Valorant.
Or when our TSM old man team wins a league. match.
Oh God, yeah.
And we'll be able to come back and be like, 30-year-old gamers can game, bro. We got this. We're the best. Valorant. All right, Ross. We're not going to miss it. We're not going to forget it. This one's been long. We've had a lot of opinions on not a lot of topics. Especially how Twitch Rivals is going to become ESPN of gaming.
A lot of uninformed opinions.
I will send you the article after this from Esports Insider. So the last bit that we have to go over is what have you been playing, buddy? You already showed it. You already showed it, but let's.
Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good. A lot of cool. What's it called? The better life changes. What's it called?
Quality of life.
Quality of life. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, lots of cool quality of life changes. I didn't realize that they actually did like a whole new soundtrack too, and you can switch between the two of them.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. You can go classic or modern. That's dope.
That's pretty cool. And it looks great. Again, it's a game that people loved enough to petition to Nintendo to bring it to America, and then GameStop screwed it over because GameStop sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put it on a console that no one cares about in the new 3DS. And then we resorted to playing it on Dolphin with a HD texture pack that fans made because, again, fans love the game so much. And now we finally get it on a real, actual console. So it's great.
It's a long time coming, baby.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. Good. I have nothing really new to report on my end. I was going to play a dope Warhammer game, but then...
You played Terraria for the first
I did.
time.
I played Terraria. That was cool. I played some Warzone. That was fun. And I finally played the BR mode. That was kind of cool. I've been playing a lot of racing games. I've been back on Maneater. Been enjoying that a lot. But the real loss of this last week was I was going to play Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr, which is like a Diablo-esque game in the Warhammer 40k universe, which is a cool universe that I like a lot. And I was going to play that with Tom and Josh, and we loaded up everything, and you're supposed to be able to play co-op, and we made our super cool Neocore account so we could co-op, and then it wouldn't let us link each other, and then the game was like, oh yeah, if you want to play co-op, you got to do 70 hours worth of tutorial to play co-op. What do you mean you bought this game that said co-op ready while it's on sale and try to play it with your friends? You can't do that. So I'm gonna go run through.
You're gonna give them the negative review and refund it and say
no, I'm
disingenuous. Can't actually play co-op.
No, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna do the right thing, and I'm gonna play the tutorial, and then I'm gonna play co-op with my friends. So
okay,
we'll do that. So hey, another one in the books, my friend. Another one in the books.
Mm-hmm.
We've survived 3 months of podcasts, an entire pandemic. It's been great.
Well, I haven't survived that yet.
No, me either.
That just got into my family, so see me in like 2 weeks.
Same, exactly. Damn, man, this podcast is cursed.
Yeah.
Anybody on this podcast, their family catches the COVID. So, wishing well to all those people, and hoping those folks get through it fast and with very little effect. But it'll be tough. Yeah. So anyway, if you've been watching, come back next week. We've got Bennett and Nick from Bomb Shelter Games coming on to be interviewed. They're artist and writer for a upcoming indie title called Depths of Sanity, which I quite enjoyed playing the demo of, and they will have a new demo actually coming out shortly after our conversation next Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. If you're listening, we are live on Sundays. Come and join us on Twitch, and go add us, subscribe us, like us,
hi on Twitch,
5-star us, do all that stuff. We've had a lively chat room this week.
I haven't had it up.
Spoiler: we don't talk to the chat during the podcast. Get lost, losers. Just kidding. We talk after the.
Calling Josh.
Yeah,
That's not lively.
No, it is. We had Zeebs in there. We had a few other people. We had some folks. We had Mr. Tennis Balls. We had some folks talking. We had Crabs. We had lots of cool folks. Lots of cool folks in there.
Now
we appreciate y'all. If
only I actually read the chat.
We don't have time to talk during the chat, unfortunately. To the chat during the podcast. So anyway, we appreciate you. We'll see you for episodes 13 and 14 probably, because if we're going to have that Sony release on Friday, we're going to end up doing 2 podcasts, 1 news and 1 interview. So get ready to do some hard work. But we're not doing an after show today. I have to drive to Best Buy and pick up a TV. And then, that's that. So I did have one last thing for you. Now that we're on
Yeah.
hour 2 of the podcast. Did you see that FaZe Clan is looking for their newest players and content creators, Ross? You can phase up, dude. Show them your sick Rainbow Six skills.
Phase up.
You can phase up, baby.
I'll learn how to use Lightworks today.
Yeah, get in there. You can be a content creator, YouTuber.
Well, I saw that tweet actually because he said like I'm always hiring for content creators.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I'm never not hiring content creators. So
Yes.
if you're cool,
Get in there, Ross.
phase up.
That's you. Phase up. All right.
All right.
So big preach. Love everyone. We will talk to you twice next week.
No.
No.